All right, all praise, glory, and honor is most certainly due to the Most High, the God of the patriarchs, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and peace to you in the name of Jesus. This is your brother Elisha Israel of the House of Faith. Count it always a blessing each and every single time that I come and preach the word of God, and never do I count it as a light thing to do so. All right, brothers and sisters, I'm not going to be long this evening. I just want to deal with what today is and what people think today is. And people think today is New Year's Eve, the day before the new year actually begins. Um, and this is a peace to you, good brother Willie. And this is one of those days, that's a part of the celebration. Peace, brother Micaiah. It's good to see you as well. It's a part of the celebration, goes right along. It's the capstone to like Christmas, and it starts off with Halloween, and you get to uh, Thanksgiving, and you got Christmas, and you capstone it with Easter, and you start this whole idea of a new year. Peace to everybody. Peace to you. It's good to see you there. Um, so that's what people think today is. But if we look at it, the Bible tells us when a new year begins, and it's not tomorrow or at 12 midnight. That's some foolishness. Um, let's go to the encyclopedia and just find out what the encyclopedia says about this day and how you get this day. Okay. This is let's see. This is from the World Book Encyclopedia. Again, if you have an online encyclopedia, Encyclopedia Britannica, or many encyclopedias will tell you something similar. Okay. So first of all, let's deal with January and what this month is, or how you get this name. January is the first month of the year according to the Gregorian calendar, which is used in almost all the world today. The month is named for Janus, a Roman god. According to Roman legend, the ruler Numa Pompilius added January and February to the end of the 10-month Roman calendar in about 700 BC. He gave the month 30 days. In 46 BC, the Roman statesman Julius Caesar added a day to January and made it the first month of the year. The Norse people named the first month for Thor, their god of thunder and storms, which is where, just a side note, is where you get the name Thursday from. Thursday is named after Thor. Wednesday is named after Woden, etc. Okay. The Anglo-Saxons called it Wolf Month because wolves came into the villages in winter in search of food. Okay, so that's the month. The month is named after Janus. And let me read a little bit about Janus. This is from the Pagan Origins of Christian Holidays. Give me one moment. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna read a little bit more about January and what Julius Caesar did, and I'm gonna get to this. Okay, so this is from this title from the chapter entitled January 1st, honoring the God of new beginnings. In 46, Julius Caesar, with the assistance of the Egyptian astronomer Sosigenes of Alexandria, revised the previously used calendar and established the new year in January. However, this particular calendar was quite unsound. For instance, the year 46 BC, often referred to as the year of confusion, had 445 days and 15 months. On February 24th, 582, Pope Gregory the 13th introduced the calendar, which is utilized throughout most of the known world today. So we're on the Gregorian calendar, even unto this day. Okay, so it says, the month January was named in honor of Janus, the god of new beginnings, gates, and doors. In early Rome, prior to the use of statues to represent their gods, the Romans worshipped Janus as a doorway. This is similar to how Vesta was considered naught else but living fire. Representations of Janus had two faces, one looking forward to the future and the other gazing backwards into the past. To Caesar, it was appropriate for the new year to be in this month because it would be the doorway to the new year. In honor of Janus, Romans engaged in banqueting and licentious sexual activities. And again, if you just look, you can see that well. That's a depiction of this false deity Janus. So that's where you get January and January 1st from. Okay, going back to World Book Encyclopedia, says January 1st is celebrated as New Year's Day in most countries. The third Monday of January is a federal holiday in the United States. Okay, so that's going on to Martin Luther King Day. But so this is the new year. So most people consider this the new year. Okay. Now the now you should ask the question, what is new about January 1st? We're in the dead of winter. There's nothing new. Just like nothing new happens at 12 midnight. 12 midnight looks like 11:59. But if you go to the Bible, you really see when the day begins and actually when the year begins. Okay, so now let's pick it up. Let's go to we can pick it up in Genesis, and let's pick it up in Genesis, and I want to pick it up at verse 5. Genesis 1 and 5. It says, "And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night, and the evening and the morning were the first day." See, the day begins in the evening. So when you see the evening coming, when you see an actual change, that's the beginning of the day. That's just why, that's just how the Sabbath begins at sunset or sundown. When you see that change, you know it's coming in. Okay, but there's no difference between 10:59, 11:59, 1:50. I'm talking about 8 p.m. Then you're going to with code a.m. There's no difference because that's something man just made up. And just like there's no change that you're gonna see. I know it's been a tough year, so-called quote unquote year. People really want this year to be over. 2020, but in reality, according to what God created and what He set up, this is not the beginning or the of the year. Okay, you even have an inkling of that when you look at what year it is. I mean, excuse me, what month it is. It's called the month December. What is DEC? That means 10. Just like in November, no means 9, but 10. It's the 12th month, but it's actually closer to the 10th month. Right? Like November is 9, October is 8, Sept is 7. You see? It's not a coincidence that the number of those months doesn't match up to what the month is called on this Gregorian calendar. Because man, like usual, is coming up with some foolishness. So what you're doing in honor of this day, you count down like something gonna change it. 10, 9, 8, and you get down, y'all might drink, you might kiss somebody, you might take your mask down or kiss them. Whatever you're doing, it is nothing changing. So when is the actual new year? Let's go to the Bible. The Bible tells us that. And peace to everybody that's listening. This is Exodus. I'm going to pick it up at Exodus, the 12th chapter. I'm going to pick it up at verse 1. It says, "And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, This month shall be unto you the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year to you." Okay, so now he's telling them this is around the time of what is commonly referred to as the Exodus, when Israel left Egypt. Okay, so he tells them, "Speak ye unto all the congregation of Israel, saying, In the 10th day of this month they shall take to them every man a lamb, according to the house of their fathers, a lamb for an house." Okay, so they took this month this lamb on the first month on the 10th day and kept it until the 14th day. The 14th day was the Passover. So Passover is on the 14th day of the first month of God's calendar. Here, he gave them this because apparently one can infer that they were dealing with another type of calendar, just like we in captivity right now, dealing with this Gregorian calendar. Dealing with the Gregorian calendar. But the Lord has established something else. So now let's see what month this is. Let's go right into the 13th chapter. Because this month actually has a name. We're in Exodus, the 13th chapter, and we're gonna pick it up at verse 4. And he says something. "This day came ye out in the month Abib, Abib is the first month in the Lord's calendar. Now let's go to Zondervan. Okay, this is Zondervan, the Zondervan Pictorial Bible Dictionary, and see what it says about Abib. Okay, so Abib, the pre-exilic name for the first month of the year. And when you look it up, sometimes, as a matter of fact, let's look at Strong's. Let's look at Strong's real quick. Because you'll see it says something. And I'm going to go back to Zondervan in a moment. So when you look it up in the Hebrew, you'll notice something. It says Abib, from an unused root, meaning to be tender or green. Okay, so that speaks to the beginning. Now, when is this? Now, going back to when I say green, like something that's green, that's new, that's renewed. So it says, after exile, the name was changed to Nisan. It fell about the time of our march in early April. Now, does that make sense? Now, let's go back to the day. When we looked at the day and to the Lord in the evening and the morning, or the first day, the day begins in the evening when you see an actual change, not at 12 a.m., right? You see an actual change in the day. When it comes to the year, guess what? You see an actual change. Why? What's the change? You see it in the spring. Peace to you, brother. It's good to see you there, brother. You see it in the spring. In the spring, things are quote unquote renewed. You got the birds chirping, you got mating season, you got flowers blooming. There's a change. That's the beginning of the year. January 1st is not the beginning of the new year. That's the dead of winter. Nothing is new. Everything is dead. You understand? So that's according to God's calendar. That's when the new year is. It's not. The new year is not does not begin in a few hours. So even though people gonna our people, they're gonna find a reason to party. They're gonna be partying somewhere, and you're gonna have where I'm at. They're gonna be shooting up a storm. But it's all for now, because it really for us. I'm gonna be honest. Like I try to be on here all the time. It's really time for us to lay down this foolishness. Lay down all this false worship. It has gotten us nowhere except we've been catching hell because of it. You know, we have, and he said you worship other gods of wood and stone in captivity. We need to turn back to God and give all what we have received in captivity, all this false worship. We need to let it go. We need to give it back. He can have Christmas, Easter, Thanksgiving. He can have it all, because it's not to our benefit whatsoever. We need to turn back to him and deal with what he gave us out of the book. And I want to pick up one other thing, because it's important to know when the new year actually begins, because in that first month, you have his feast days, right? And I just want to read this one passage in Colossians to understand what his feast days are. So it's important to know when the new year actually is. I'm not just doing this because it doesn't have any consequence. This is Colossians, the 2nd chapter, and I want to pick it up at verse 16, because here he tells the congregation of the Colossae, who had another type of system of worship there, before they came into the knowledge of the faith. They had their days in which they venerated. They had their gods in which they upheld. But when they came to the true and living God, you have to lay all that mess behind you. And that's what we need to do as a people. We need to leave it alone. This is Colossians, the 2nd chapter, verse 16. It reads, "Let no man therefore judge you in meat or in drink or in respect of an holy day or the new moon or the Sabbath days." What are they? He says, which are a shadow of things to come, but the body is of Christ. See, his feast days, the feast days of the Lord, they are the plant They outline a plan of salvation for man. Man's holidays just show you some foolishness and paganism and false worship. That's all that is. That's not from the Lord. So we need to deal with what the Lord gave us, and you really can't even start to know when the feast days are if you don't know when the year begins. So with that, brothers and sisters, I want to remind you that we at the Household of Faith meet every Sabbath at 5925 West 25th Avenue in Gary, Indiana at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. We live stream right here on the Israel Teach YouTube channel, as well as at www.israelteach.org. If you've been edified through the ministry and would like to leave a donation, you can do so on our website. Again, www.israelteach.org. 100% of the proceeds goes to the work of the ministry. And we are truly thankful for those who have donated to our ministry. We have Bible study. We have a Bible study every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time on Zoom. And the personal meeting ID number is 845-7108-8849. Again, that personal meeting ID number is 845-7108-8849. We have a question and an answer on Friday night at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. And the personal meeting ID number is 602-961-1318. Again, that personal meeting ID number is 602-961-1318. Okay. Finally, there are books that I've written that are available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, website, and other places where books are sold. Into Egypt Again with Ships, Pagan Origins of Christian Holidays, Killing Black Innocents, the program to control African American reproduction from slavery's end to the present day self-inflicted genocide. Hair Like Wool, Feet Like Burned Brass, the color of Jesus and burning truths concerning the Messiah. But then shall be great tribulation, and In Defense of Biblical Polygyny. All these books are available again on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and other places where books are sold. Peace to the sisters and the brothers. Okay. And with that, so it's my prayer that you were edified.